Okay, so Libra Moon. And before I get into what a Libra Moon typically expresses as, I just want to briefly mention, because we are all the signs of the zodiac, essentially expressed in different degrees and intensities, sometimes we can have other elements, planets, and energies within our chart that can essentially water down and overpower our moon sign. And so this is for someone who has a strong Libra moon. Because Libra is a cardinal air sign ruled by Venus, that makes a Libra moon someone who is very charming, someone who loves balance, beauty, peace, and art. When it comes to the emotions and moods of a Libra, it will typically express as someone who is very attuned to keeping the balance, keeping the peace, and knowing how to really create and stabilize harmony within their relationships with other people and within themselves. Libras live for balance and peace, and that is why their symbol is the scales. Well, that's one of the reasons why their symbol is the scales, because they also are about justice, but we'll get into that. But essentially, their natural nature is to be balancers, is to be peacemakers. And so when it comes to their emotions and their moods, they're essentially going to do whatever it takes, whatever they need to bring out of themselves, whatever perception, energy, action they need to create harmony, to create and stabilize balance and peace. Not only that, because Libra is ruled by Venus, the planet of love and beauty and art, a Libra moon is someone who is typically very charming, very sweet, and very loving. They really love to love. They really love to show their love, and they love to be loved. And because they're ruled by Venus, a Libra moon is literally just blessed with beauty in whichever way that expressed. They're blessed with beauty, and they're really drawn to beauty, whether that's in other people or even within themselves, like how they look, and feel within themselves. They want to feel beautiful. They want other people to see them as beautiful. And they like to surround themselves with beautiful things, beautiful energy, beautiful people, and beautiful art. That Venus energy also makes them very sensual, and they're very attuned to their senses, what they're seeing, what they're smelling, what they're tasting, what they're feeling, what they're sensing, that other sense. And so, that Venus energy really brings so many qualities, different qualities to the Libra moon. And so in addition to all of that, Venus also makes Libra very relationship oriented. They love to be in relationships, and they really excel when they're in relationships because they are the sign of love and partnership. When they're in a very balanced, healthy, beautiful partnership, it really brings out the best in Libra and really helps them to bring out the best of their Libra moon and bring out their best energies, their best love. And one last quality that Venus brings to a Libra moon is money, baby. Venus loves money, and so a Libra moon, just like a Taurus moon, is going to love money. And sometimes they can be a little bit overindulgent in that money, but we'll get to those downsides in a little bit. So like I was saying earlier, because Libra's symbol is the scales and they love to be of balance, not only does that balance play out, within themselves, like wanting to be balanced emotionally within themselves and wanting their partnerships and their relationships with other people, not even just intimate relationships, it can be platonic and friendships. Not only do they need those to be balanced and to be peaceful and to be fair, they also love to bring this out within the public, within the 3D world, within humanity. When a Libra moon is very evolved, they really want to be of service in that way to bring about justice, to bring about peace and fairness and balance to society, not just their personal lives. And so because Libra is ruled by air, they're also extremely intellectual signs. So one last quality of the Libra moon before we go into more of the shadow aspects of that Libra moon energy is that when a Libra moon is very evolved and really learning how to balance their need for balance and harmony and peace, they're really great at knowing and honoring their own boundaries and not always putting their energy to other people and other people's needs, and not always putting their needs to the side. So on the other hand of that Libra moon, because every sign of course has its shadows, someone with a Libra moon, because they love balance and they love peace and harmony, they can very much be attuned to lying, and they can just downright just be liars, especially when they're more in the shadow aspect and not really learning to evolve through their need for balance and peacemaking. And so that can be very problematic later, because one, they're telling lies, and it could be white lies or it could be big lies, to keep the balance and to keep the peace. But essentially, that's all going to come up to the surface later, whether that directly comes out that they, didn't tell the truth, or they're going to realize that because they haven't been expressing what they need and they haven't been honoring their boundaries and their needs, they can literally explode and just have zero tolerance, for the other person, for, this situation, for even wanting to use their powers of balancing and peace and keeping things stable. All of that can go right out the window when they're not honoring and balancing their own needs as well. So because of that, they can essentially conform to others too much. And so a Libra moon has to really, really, really work on understanding, acknowledging, and honoring what they need. It's great, it's beautiful that a Libra knows how to put themselves to the side, put their needs to the side, to meet other people, to keep the balance and the harmony. But they have to learn how to balance it, and so that it's not too much about the other person and not about them. They need it to be here, and not even too much about them. They need it to literally be here. And so in addition to that, because a Libra moon can be too tailored to other people, whether that's their relationship or their friends, on one hand, they can excel being around other people and being in, like I was saying, balanced, harmonizing partnerships and friendships. But on the other hand of that, the shadow aspect of that is that they can lose themselves within other people and what other people need and what other people want from them. And it can be really, really hard for them to be by themselves because, they are the sign of partnership. They naturally love to be in relationships and to be with other people. So a few last qualities that the Libra moon has in the shadow aspect of them is that, because like I was saying earlier, that Venus energy makes a Libra very attuned to money and luxury. They have to learn how to not be overindulgent. Because Venus loves beauty and art, they have to be very careful to not be overindulgent in money and their sensual pleasures and what makes them feel good externally, from the 3D world. Not being too caught up in money and labels and luxury and cars and, the whole nine. And lastly, because a Libra moon is an air element, they can be too detached and too airy with their emotional nature. And so sometimes they might need to learn how to kind of tap more into their heart space, which is not that hard for them because they have that Libra energy, but learning how to really tap into that. It might be even harder for men because air is a masculine element, and in society, men are not naturally taught to be in their heart space and to be sensitive and emotional. It might be harder for Libra moon men to tap into this than a woman, but essentially any energy, any gender can have a hard time tapping into this energy if they're too in their mental state, in their mental body. So a really great tip for someone with a Libra moon, or if you know someone with a Libra moon, is to, like I was saying earlier, not put your needs to the side too much. Your superpower is your ability to balance, is your ability to be there for other people, but you also got to be there for yourself. You also got to be there to balance out your own needs, your own desires. When you overfill your cup and it's overflowing, you're really able to be there even more for other people's needs and their desires, and you're really able to keep the balance and the peace and the harmony in a very genuine, stable, sincere way because your needs are met first. So learning how to not put your needs to the side too much is crucial so that later you don't explode, and so that you can stay centered into your need for balance and into your need for love and showing your Venus energy. And lastly, surround yourself with beauty and your sensual pleasures. So like I was saying, before, don't be so indulgent in them, but surrounding yourself by them is important because that stimulates you and you love to be surrounded by beauty, even if that's just within yourself, within your room, within your home, within, going outside and immersing yourself with your senses whatever works for you, definitely tap into that as much as you can. Light candles, have things going that stimulate you. Take baths. Really, really take care of your sensual needs, because that is how you balance yourself, and that is how you keep yourself, harmonic and peaceful. So on the one hand, it's like you have someone who is very loving, someone who's very sweet, someone who's very charming, someone so tapped into their Venus center and their love, someone who really excels with other people and within relationships, someone who wants to be of service to people, someone who loves to keep the balance and the peace and really enjoys bringing that to their relationships and to their partnerships. But on the other hand, you can have someone that is too conceding to other people, where they're not honoring themselves, they're not honoring their own needs, and they're not putting themselves first, and so they can explode. They can essentially just be very unhappy because they're not attuning to themselves. Or they can be too detached, they can be too airy, they can be too overindulgent because they are ruled by Venus and because they love to stimulate their senses. And essentially, like I was saying, because they have such a deep desire for a balance and harmony, they can lead to lying and telling white lies or big lies to keep the peace. But at the end of the day, someone with a Libra moon is always going to come back to their heart, because they're ruled by Venus, and Venus is literally the planet of love. And Libra is the sign of love and partnerships. And that's typically how you would see a Libra moon express themselves.